No audio.
Hi everyone, glad you're here. Before we kick things off, I want to give you a chance to review the disclosures. Sit tight. We'll start in just a moment. Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. So today I'm doing a deep dive on Velo 3D, ticker Velo, trading on the Nasdaq. Now before I get into it, just a quick note. Nothing in this video is a buy or sell recommendation. This is purely a research breakdown. We're looking at the business, the technology, the potential, and you take it from there. Do your own due diligence always. So, Velo 3D, metal 3D printing. I know, you've probably heard the whole additive manufacturing is the future pitch 100 times, but stick with me because what this company does is genuinely different. And the fact that over 56% of their revenue now comes from defense applications. That changes the conversation entirely. Let's start with what they actually make. Velo 3D sells a Sapphire family of metal 3D printers. These are large format machines up to 600 millimeters wide, some configurations going up to a meter tall, 8 1 kilowatt lasers working simultaneously for high throughput production. These aren't desktop printers, these are industrial manufacturing systems. Now what separates Velo from everyone else is their proprietary process called intelligent fusion. It's a laser powder bed fusion technology, LPBF, that allows engineers to print incredibly complex metal geometries without the support structures that normally limit what you can build. That's a massive deal in aerospace and defense, where you're printing turbopumps, nozzle injectors, hypersonic scramjet components, parts that are either impossible or absurdly expensive to machine traditionally. And on top of the hardware, they've built a full software stack, Flow for print preparation, Assure for in-situ quality control, and it all runs through their intelligent fusion process. So you're not just buying a printer, you're buying into an entire certified manufacturing workflow. Customers like SpaceX, Honeywell, the US, Navy, Navarre, the US Army, Lam Research. These are not small names. And backing all of this up, 63 plus issued patents with IP protections running through 2047. All right, so let's talk about the moat, because this is where it gets really interesting from a research standpoint. First, and I cannot stress this enough, Velo 3D is the only US-based original equipment manufacturer doing LPBF at this level. That's it. Everyone else competing in this space, your EOS, your Trumpy, they're European. From a national security and reshoring perspective, that makes Velo 3D a one-of-one asset domestically. Second, that IP portfolio. 63 issued patents, 51 more pending. That's not just marketing language. Those patents cover the core process of printing support-free complex metal geometries. Competitors can't just copy this overnight. Third, and this one's sneaky clever, something called the golden file. When a defense customer qualifies a part on a Velo 3D system, the print parameters are machine-specific and proprietary. Switching to a different machine means requalifying the entire part from scratch, which, in aerospace and defense, can take years and cost millions. So once a customer is in, they're basically in forever. And look at the competition. Markforged and Stratasys are primarily in polymers. Desktop metal, they've had serious financial distress. Optomic is niche. Velo 3D is playing in a league with almost no direct domestic competition. Now let's talk about what actually drives growth over the next 2 to 3 years, because the tailwinds here are genuinely powerful. Defense is 56% of revenue right now, and that's not slowing down. It's accelerating. The Pentagon has been very public about needing to rebuild its domestic manufacturing base. They need supply chains that can produce parts fast, domestically, without a 52-week lead time from a foreign casting supplier. Velo 3D is literally the answer to that problem. Their Rapid Production Solutions business, or RPS, is the one I'm watching most closely. Essentially, instead of selling a printer, they're offering manufacturing as a service, producing the actual parts for customers. That backlog grew 3 times over in just the first quarter of 2025. 3 times. If that scales, it becomes a much higher margin, recurring revenue stream, which is a very different business than selling hardware, 1 unit at a time. Then you've got hypersonics, space propulsion, semiconductor capital equipment. These are industries where the demand for complex, high-performance metal parts is surging, and legacy manufacturing can't keep up. And in terms of validated traction, look at the contract wins. A $32.6 million DoD war contract, $9.8 million multi-year Department of War contract, $6 million US. Navy partnership for ship repair components, $4 million with the US Army. That's real revenue, real contracts, real customers. All right, and I always do this. Let's be honest about both sides because no company is a slam dunk. On the strength side, the reshoring angle is real and getting stronger. The IP moat is legitimately hard to replicate. Defense contracts are long cycle and sticky. The golden file creates near irreversible customer lock-in. The RPS backlog growth is genuinely impressive. But, and here's where I want to be transparent, this company has had going concern warnings in the past. The balance sheet has required repeated capital raises, which has been dilutive to shareholders. Gross margins swung wildly. Q3 2025 came in at just 3.2%, versus 49% the year before, though that prior year included a one-time $5 million license payment that skewed it. Still, the volatility is real. Revenue base is still small, around $46 million trailing 12 months, and execution risk on scaling RPS is something to watch. This is a company with a really compelling thesis that also carries real risk. Anyone telling you it's a no-brainer is either not doing their homework or selling you something. And finally, the acquisition angle. I think this is actually one of the most underappreciated parts of the Velo 3D story. Think about it from a defense primes perspective. You've got a company that is the only domestic LPBF OEM with 63 plus patents, active contracts with the Navy, Army, Air Force, and Space Force customers, already being used by SpaceX and Honeywell, trading at a market cap under $300 million. For a Lockheed Martin, an RTX Raytheon, a GE Aerospace, or even a Honeywell, that's basically a rounding error. But the strategic value? Enormous. Other names I'd put on the potential acquirer list: L3 Harris, Safran Group. Anyone who needs a certified domestic AM manufacturing capability and doesn't want to build one from scratch over 5 years. Now, from a pure research outlook perspective, if RPS keeps scaling, DoD backlog keeps compounding, and margins normalize anywhere toward that 30 to 40% range, this becomes a materially larger business by 2028 or 2029. The global metal additive manufacturing market is projected to reach $15 billion or more by 2030. Velo 3D, as the only domestic LPBF OEM, is uniquely positioned to capture an outsized share of US defense and aerospace spending. Again, this isn't a recommendation, this is research. Go do your own digging, look at the 10K, look at the DoD contract history. But as a company with a genuinely unique position in a sector with serious tailwinds, this one's worth understanding. Thanks for watching. Drop any questions in the comments below. If you liked the video, click like and don't forget to subscribe to the video so you can get the latest content. Also, don't forget to share with your friends who may be interested in this content. That's all for now, and we'll see you in next one.